Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome. I try to be as curious as I am, but after watching, I just finished watching this miraculous adult rom-com, plus size misadventures in love, and it's crazy because just to make sure we're on the same page, I had to look up the synopsis of the show. Comedy, romance, okay, rom-com. But no one's ever told me that this was going to be one of those like huge, huge plot twists. And look, after watching this episode, I questioned myself about this. It's like I like this because they're balancing the rom-com and mystery solving case into one unique what the hell moment. Like, what? And what's crazy about it is like every adult rom-com I have watched. Some have. I mean, some have not. Like Love is Hard for an Otaku. Simple rom-com, simple adult workplace rom-com, with two otakus, that kind of thing. I get all that. My Tiny Senpai, same thing. An adult workplace rom-com. 365 Days to the Wedding. There are some plethora of adult rom-coms out there. Even ones this season. But this one right here, I kid you not. Guys, for those of you watching my show, my views, I kid you not. See, I'm stuttering a bit. I kid you not. This will go down as one of the most underrated rom-coms this year. But this could be one of my top 3 favorite rom-coms because for a show like this that had every bit of like plot twist thickens in this one, it's like this is what it is. And the thing is, the first episode was all about like Yomiko being this big happy-go-lucky girl. Yeah, she's fat, but she could get the love. Now it's like watching this, it's just so many like I forgot. That's what that was. So, you know what? Let's get right to it with this review because I'm going to go off the deep with this show. Let's just talk about episode 3 review. Plus size misadventures of love. Okay, so this episode, the theme for this show is PTSD. I know in life, not we as in me, but I'm not like, people have suffered from PTSD. People have suffered like past traumas. And people are afraid to express themselves, to reveal their true identity. We all got skeletons in our closets. Nobody's perfect. In Yomiko's case, it is. You see, after last week with that cliffhanger, this guy, Minami, his partner wanted to investigate the incident that happened with Yomiko. And look, props for her backstory, props for her confidence. She is just as confident and like, I can't hate her. I can't hate Yomiko. I cannot, not one thing I can hate about. I know we're episode 3, but I can't even think of one bad thing. And as I continue watching this every episode weekly, I can tell you right now, I ain't gonna see nothing bad happen to her, not once. Then it's like, we get more info about this incident. Because if you go back to the first episode, she's like, I'm fat, I'm ugly. Wake up, and then she still has amnesia, and she still has she has blonde hair and she has amnesia, but she still loved to work. You see what I'm saying? And she had friends, her best friend, Tama, and the co-workers, those kind of things. But then the reality sinks in when the Minami detective and his partner was like, that bob cut, arm looking ass, go out and say, look, Minami head detective said this, okay, it was 4 p.m. in an abandoned building. Something must have happened. What's happened? And she has no recollection whatever. The only thing we have on her phone was Kisuke, the male guy. The only thing he has was on his phone about this guy, Kisuke. There was still questions about that for the first 2 episodes. Like, why does she have photos of him? That was the question. And then we got more info. And then that detective, he could shut the hell up. The fact that he goes off and said, people didn't like, and look through her notes, like, remember, her book shows, like, fat, ugly, all that stuff. There was still question about that. Like, did she wrote it herself? Did someone have threatened her? There was still questions about that incident. And it's crazy because I forgot that this was all about a murdering scene. I know I said last week we're going to push down the stairs, but that's still the big question. Who tried to kill Yumiko? Who tried to kill this likable person? Like, who would do that? Now, again, this whole plot is really good. This whole plot is freaking good. Like, if you like mystery and a rom-com put together, go watch this show. Plus size Misadventures of Love. In Love. Anyway, back to what I was saying. The guy took his phone and said, look through all that, and he got the picture of Kisuke. We're trying to figure out why. Okay. Now, she lost her phone and has no trace of her. But when she went back to the office for having a mini celebration, one of the co-workers pulled a knife. And that literally caused her back to flashbacks. We got so many kinks of her flashbacks. It's not even a joke. We got one of her flashbacks when a guy was holding a knife just to cut a pear, and literally just short flashbacks, just like seeing the knife getting stabbed. Yo, that. Oh God, oh my God, that's crazy. That's freaking crazy. Not only that, one of the detectives pull up an image of what Yumiko looked like in the past. Her, I won't say her ugly self, but her past self, to a point where Yumiko is like, who is that? Because they got it in the company portfolio that's how she was. And Yumiko's like, oh, that's not me. Of course not. How can that be me? And all that. But as she watched the photo, as she looked at the photo, it's like, we got so many intensified flashbacks. Like, oh my God. And Kisuke's wait a minute, give me Kisuke here. I mean, Kisuke's doing his thing. I mean, they got photos of him with another woman. The boss's ex-wife? Could be wrong. It could be. I gotta watch it again. I didn't skim. I just like, wow. But the ex-wife part, and then like, there's no way he's doing this. He's not a scumbag. Or she's defending him. You see, Kisuke and Yumiko have this kind of relationship. They're friends. This is a rom-com. This is going to be building up soon from friends to what couple. But again, they're friends. Yumiko is protecting Kisuke, Kisuke protecting Yumiko. Their bond is that good. And then all of a sudden, another, and this scene was one of the most intense PTSD plots we ever seen. So she's in the bathroom, and when she look at the mirror, her flashbacks comes in play, where her past self, Yumiko's past self, was all like, her mom was saying, you don't like mirrors. Oh, you ugly, you're fat. Even her friend Tama was like, why are you so this at work, And it was so intense to see that. And then we got the answer of that. The whole phone photos of Kisuke was actually Yumiko stalking him. That's how she got photos of Kisuke. That, and it's so intensified. That was a lot of PTSD drama plot in this one. It was so hectic. But it's like, watching episode 3 made you realize, it made you realize that it's hard to escape from the past. It's very hard. It's like you have this new life, and then let's say 5 to 10 years later, something comes back at you, and that's giving you past of what you did or how you were back then. But one thing I like about Yumiko is this. Even though we're gonna see episodes of her flashbacks of her past self, how she was, I want to see episodes of that, because I'm curious about how she was, but she's ignoring everything about it and moving on. With this, the first 2 episodes was all giddy and happy, being a positive energy, like, yeah, I may be fat and ugly, but I like work. I may have amnesia, but I like work. I like my best friend. I want to bring that happy personality, big-hearted person like Takio from my love story vibe. You see what I'm saying? But when you add this kind of drama flashback to her life, it's kind of like taking it all away from her. But that's what I'm feeling about this. And let's not. And then that last was that crazy woman just making a call, and I'm like, is that her? Is that this? That was the same woman from the photo, because Yumiko was like, wait a minute, I know that woman in the photo, and all of a sudden she makes the phone call at the end. I think that's her before she was skinny. I don't know. What if it's one of those chamber locked rooms where she was all fat, but now she's skinny, and they haven't made her eat anything because her room was empty. That's how the woman was calling. But overall, though, this episode was so intensively good because the fact that I know we're in episode 3, but it's one of those like, this is why I'm watching this show, because this episode had like a little bit of a flashback PTSD vibe. And I know that some people have been there in that kind of situation, but if you watch it, you'll be like, oh my God, now I'm glued. Now I want to see more. And I hope later on we get to see of her back with all these flashbacks. I hope we get to see her flashback as to what she was before this happened. Not only that, that's the big question. Like, I understand this is a rom-com, but can we find out who pushed this nice lady down the stairs? I'm curious. It's like, who framed Roger Rabbit? Okay, who tried to kill Yumiko? I am so curious. And now they're thinking Kisuke is up there because he's been like a scumbag, but I don't know. And now the next target is gonna be the boss that she works at, so we don't know. There are so many questions in this, none are answered. It's like, this is like Clue. Who is that person? So I look forward for next week's episode of this. Let's see where this goes for Yumiko and herself. I hope that the past does not affect her or anything like that. We shall see. So stay tuned for watching.